Thank you. Could I have the Opawaho Heathcote River Network, Annabelle Hasselman?
Now I've got a PowerPoint. How do I run that from here? Oh, it comes up. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Annabelle Hasselman from the Opawaho Heathcote River Network. I'm the chair and I thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. So, the Opawaho Heathcote Network developed out of a community response to the lack of integration by the council in the management of the Opawaho Heathcote River, including its tributaries and catchment. The purpose and vision of the network is to facilitate a collaborative network which advocates for the regeneration of the whole of the Opawaho Heathcote River. Our vision is for an ecologically healthy river that people take pride in, enjoy and care for. And you can see on the map in front of you an outline of the actual catchment, which is bordered to the south by the Port Hills, to the west by Horswell and Hornby, and out to Riccarton, and then the CBD to the north, it's just below the CBD, and then out to the east from the estuary. And within that catchment you can see what is unique about the Opawaho Heathcote River catchment is a variety of land uses. There's the rural land use in the blue, the conservation land use in the green, and the large part of the land use which the river winds its way through is residential. And then there's also the yellow, which is the industrial area, and a lot of the tributaries that feed into the river actually come from this industrial source. So that unique land use and catchment provides a number of issues for the river, and the Opawaho Heathcote's claim to fame is the fact that it is the most polluted river in Christchurch. It has urban stream syndrome. It suffers from huge amounts of sediment running off from the Port Hills, especially after the fires. There's stormwater contamination of copper, zinc and hydrocarbons, which come from our brake pads, from the roofs and from general cars on the roads. There's flooding and there's a loss of mahinga kai. The Opawaho Heathcote network you can think of as the filling in an Oreo cookie. There are layers. There's the governance layer above, which are the decision makers, which the City Council was a part of, ECAN and the Zone Committee. Then there's a layer of the neighbourhood community groups, and these are the doers. And we as the network are seen to create a linkage or partnership between these two layers. Now the City Council has a number of strategic priorities, which you know, to create connected communities, a sustainable 21st century city, climate change leadership, natural hazard management, transport options, and a safe and sustainable water supply and improved waterways. And you have a number of integrated water management plans, including the 3 water strategy, a proposed integrated water strategy, and a series of river catchment visions and values. At the project level, integration with 6 values of ecology, landscape, recreation, heritage, culture and drainage. And then there are a number of integrating committees: Water Issues Management Team, Stormwater Action Team, Water Forum, Tihonga, Transport and Environment Committee. And therefore, as a network, we ask you, are these existing frameworks and committees effective in providing a strategic overview for the management of the Opawaho Heathcote River? Do we have an integrated management plan for the Opawaho Heathcote River? Well, I can answer that question for you, and the answer to both those questions is no. So as a network, we are asking for the development of a management plan for the Opawaho Heathcote River. In order for this to happen, we need a baseline information report of the catchment, which simplifies and integrates scientific and monitoring information to be able to communicate that to the community groups and the community at large. We need to be involved in the collaboration with the City Council, starting from the design and planning of projects and programs right through to their implementation. If you look at this diagram, you can see that if you've got the catchment, there are a number of stakeholders that are involved in this whole idea of integration, of which the City Council is a key player. And we need to bring everyone together to develop a Opawaho Heathcote management plan and environmental limits for the catchment. Now, from the LTP, there are a number of issues that we want to highlight as well. So the first one is that we seek funding for the Community Water Partnership. The Community Water Partnership should be included in the LTP and funded for at least $1 million. This would enable the City Council to develop partnerships with community groups such as the Opawaho Heathcote River Network to manage the city's waterways. As you know, 50% of water quality is improved by upgrading infrastructure, but a further 50% has to come from awareness and behaviour change. And a part of the Community Water Partnership, you need to fund the Enviro School program. At the moment, there are only 5 out of the potential 37 schools within the Opawaho Heathcote River that are involved in that Enviro Schools program. Resources sought for stormwater funding in the catchment. The network supports the extensive capital works and land drainage recovery program and stormwater flooding protection infrastructure that's been carried out in the upper catchment. But it advocates for the planting of those retention basins to be brought forward. It advocates for ecological monitoring and mitigation for the effects of the stormwater and flooding projects, and it advocates to inform decisions, advocates for modelling to inform decisions for future dredging and whether that is a good option. We seek that there is a greater focus on stormwater treatment to reduce zinc, copper and hydrocarbons reaching the Opawaho Heathcote River. We seek improved point source pollution within Hayton Stream Catchment, which is one of those key industrial tributaries that feeds into the river and one of the highly polluted tributaries. And again, we want the inclusion of the Community Water Partnership, which is a key way to achieve behaviour change and a means of improving the stormwater quality. Resources sought for wastewater in the Opawaho Heathcote catchment. The Opawaho Heathcote supports the upgrade of Pump Station 20, which will be a huge improvement for wastewater overflows in the catchment, but we do not support the reduction in spending on wastewater overall. It is unacceptable, quote, it is unacceptable for funding to be insufficient to maintain current network condition and so allow the overall network to deteriorate. The network asks for $500,000 to be made available to allow the flow modelling and monitoring for the wastewater system. This system is vital as it is the actual wastewater system is so complex that modelling is essential to identify how best to reduce the frequency and volumes of damaging wastewater that overflows into the Opawaho Heathcote River. We also seek for resources relating to the Water Ecology and Water Quality Improvement Fund. Funding for this fund should remain at $326,000 for the next 2 years and then be funded annually at an increased level. And this fund also forms a really important partnership with communities and is an essential part of the Community Water Partnership program. The network seeks funding for parks and reserves within the catchment, and it supports the continued funding for the regeneration of the Port Hills to stabilise and reduce the sediment load into the Opawaho Heathcote River. It also seeks the development of an eco-sourcing policy for all native planting. Now here is a good example of sediment control within the Port Hills and the gullies, and you can see the use of flax, which will trap the sediment. So on behalf of the Opawaho Heathcote River Network, I would like to say thank you for listening.
Thank you. I've got time for one. Sorry, Phil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We're grateful that With the water partnership, one of the things that quite like is leaned against that is the idea that, in fact, there's a big emphasis on education, and that education alone doesn't bring about the change. But earlier today we had certainly one of the groups who came was the Cashmere High School group, who clearly are a hugely successful water group in action as well as your own. So I'm just wondering if would you agree with the fact that because the Opāwaho River Network is very action focused, that in fact you get better results through the whole raising awareness part of it?
No, I think part of our role is the education as well. I think the education, you need the education to create the behaviour change. And so that is maybe, I think it's one of our role in looking at our strategic direction that we are wanting to focus on, is the idea of informing people and letting people understand they need the information, and then to lead them to their behaviour change.
Thank you.
Can I just say thank you, but also, since I can, I'm asking you a question. The Compliance and Monitoring Liaison Group regarding wastewater overflows, who are members of that at the moment? We're
not members of that at the moment.
No, I know, but who is? I mean, is it made up of council? Is it ECAN, or is it... You don't know?
No,
I mean, I don't know either, so
no.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But you'd like to be a part of
yes,
that?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.